What's up, y'all? You're watching Brooklyn Shuffleboard, and you're about to watch the finals of the Royal Palms Brooklyn winter season. It is Banquet, baby. Banquet is so much fun. It is goth themed this year. And in the finals, we have two teams that have not ever made it to Banquet before. It is Bodyodyody versus Stranger Danger. They are 8 of the nicest people in the club. They started playing after COVID lockdown. They're here all the time. This is going to be an amazing match. All right, and we're going to kick this thing off as Team Bodyodyody dancing in the background, head of court 3. Yeah, we're doing court 3 finals for the first time ever. I'm really excited. We have Stranger Danger on yellow, Michael and Devin. Michael at the head, Devin in the foot. Bodyodyody, Chris at the head, Carly at the foot, playing black. And this is going to be a blast. As mentioned, this is like the deepest playoff run either of these teams have made. They are all like cloud 9 already. I can't even imagine how this is going to pop off when one of these teams wins it. Especially Bodyodyody. They're like really in celebration mode right now. They said they were just happy to make it to Banquet, and now not only have they made it to Banquet, but they are in the finals. Yeah, it's going to be a dope match. So yeah, warm-up shots. They're court 3. I have a lot of videos on the channel from court 3, so I think you kind of know what to expect if you've seen this before, and that's kind of like mass chaos. As you see that disc kind of hook like strongly to the left. There's sort of like a bubble on the court just to the right of that black disc up front on the left, where it either curves left sharply or curves right sharply. So if you're playing yellow from the head, you're going to have to shoot through that all the time, so that makes it really tough. If you're playing yellow from the foot, you gotta, whenever you're trying to hide, you have to contend with that. There's just a lot of weirdness on this court. It's going to make for a really fun finals. Stranger Danger. Ooh. Wow, the applause-o-meter at a 9 for Bodyodyody. A solid 8.5 for Stranger Danger, I think. Yeah, this is going to be a good one. All right, so format. We are doing, in all of our league matches, we do best 2 out of 3, 8-frame games. So 2 people on the team play an 8-frame game, then they switch color, and the other 2 people on the team play an 8-frame game. If the same team wins twice, they win the whole thing. If they win one each, then they play a 4-frame tiebreaker where everyone plays 1 frame. A really fun format. Kind of anything can happen in an 8-frame game. You got to be aggressive, but also you got to try to not mess up. It's just like, you know, everyone kind of approaches it the same way, or approaches it a different way, where some people are like, foot on the gas, 8 frames, I got to like learn the court really quickly. Other people are like, I just don't want to mess up. And I've seen both strategies work really well. So right there, we have 2 discs on the right. I think yellow kind of reluctant to hide, kind of like a corner 7 there, so they just put up another block. And really nice clear from black. Excellent. So yeah, if it's your hammer, so it's black's hammer right now in the first frame. Kind of like the Shuffleboard 101 strategy is to keep the board clear and then try to score your hammer. And the idea behind that is it's kind of like having in tennis where whoever has the serve has the advantage. If you have the last shot, doesn't matter what's on the board, you still have that last shot, you can score. But the easiest way of making that last shot is if the board's pretty much wide open and you just have like an open board to shoot at. A lot of disco on the board, it gets kind of clogged up. Then it makes that last shot hard. So Chris doing a really nice job of keeping everything clear. And yellow's last shot, they're probably going to go for like a high 8 or something like that. They go for the high 8, and it ends up on the line. So anything touching a line is not counting as scoring for the people at home who are watching this for the first time. So yeah, black with a hammer on the left. Open court hammer. Looking pretty good. Yeah, and they get the hammer. Nice 7 from Chris. Starting it off strong. You feel good if you make that hammer. That's sort of like a perfect frame for black. They kept it clear, and then they made the hammer. That's like 10 out of 10 frame. And you got to feel good if you're a Bodyodyody. All right, so frame 2 of 8. And the thing that Carly's going to do, she's probably going to put up a St. Pete. Yeah. So that's like a little bit too far to the left, but the ideal St. Pete is halfway between the tip of the 10 and the edge of the board, kind of right edge of the board. The idea being you kind of like, let's just see if yellow can clear it. Yellow does clear it. So the idea of like not just putting a score on the board is that a score that doesn't count when it bounces back. A score that doesn't really have a blocker in front isn't really worth a whole lot because your opponent can just knock it out. So the idea of putting up these like strategic blocks is that you want to put the block up first, hope your opponent doesn't clear it, and then try to hide behind it. It's called a hide. It's basically the same thing as if you were to score and your opponent whiff and then you block it up. It's kind of like that, but in the reverse order. You're putting the block up first and then trying to score. And yeah, Devin, with the hammer this frame, he opts to put up kind of like in between a St. Pete and a Tampa, closer to a St. Pete, thinking that if the opportunity comes, he could maybe hide behind it. And yeah, Carly tries to fill in and take away that cross-court line of Devin's, but that kind of drifted a little bit too far to the left, and it's a Tampa for yellow. And Devin goes down the left side, and he kitchens himself. That's in? Oh, that's in. Man, that's the risky thing about like taking those hides in the beginning of a game is you haven't really had a lot of warm-up shots. Every court is like a different speed, as Carly does a pretty nice job of blocking it up. Every court's a different speed, and these teams were just playing on courts 1 and 2. So now they're on 3, totally different set of discs, totally different speed. It's really hard. Oh, and he gets it. He gets it. Really, really nice clear. He barely got that, but he did get it. Kind of like a tough decision for him. You know, a lot of people would say just like score the open 8, which is maybe an easier shot than the clear. But if you're lining up and you're like, you know what, I definitely have this. I have the straight line at it. Clearing it out of the kitchens were 10 points. You know, I just went for a score on the left and I missed pretty badly. So it's like a medium difficulty 8 or 7 points. You know, if you think the clear is easier, go for the clear. It's worth more points anyway. Unless it's like really blocked up, then don't chase it. Never chase clearing yourself out of the kitchen. Oh baby, I'm enjoying a crisp, refreshing Earl Ball right now. Shout out Earl Ball if you're watching. Delicious cocktail made of bourbon, pineapple juice, black pepper syrup, ginger, ice, and a whole lot of love, baby. And a whole lot of love. This is like one of the original cocktails at the Palms and one of the tastiest. All right, so a little St. Pete situation from Black, a little bit deep. I think Yellow's probably going to try to clear it out again. And they don't clear it out. Instead, it rolls right into a 10. And this is where it gets interesting. Shuffleboard definitely gets interesting as soon as someone messes up. He misses the clear, and there's something on the board. And I have a feeling Chris is going to try to put this in the kitchen like she did to Paul in the semifinals. Let's go. Oh, speed looked pretty good, just didn't connect it as straight on as they would have liked. So now Yellow's faced with a tough choice of like, it's my hammer, what do I want to do? Do I want to go on the board, like Devin's suggesting, and risk getting kitchen? Or do I want to throw the disc off the court and keep it clear for my hammer? He's going for the 8. It curves right on the center line. But, you know, that's not too bad. Something to possibly split later. You know, Chris could try to kitchen it and maybe leave Yellow in points. So this should be really interesting to see how this plays out. Goes for the kitchen again. Does not get the kitchen. Pretty close, though. And ends up with a medium 8. Definitely deep enough where Yellow can hit it straight on and score. Not an easy shot on a court this difficult, though. Winds up pretty quick and misses to camera left. So kind of a disappointing hammer there. And after 2 frames, 1, 2, 3, after 3 frames, it is 0 Yellow, 7 Black. We're doing it, people. We're doing it. Banquet. All right, cool. So frame 3 of 8. You're down. It's Yellow's out first, and you're down 7. So I would say probably I'm going to still play the St. Pete game and try to get an opportunity to hide. And that is like a picture-perfect St. Pete. Like a little bit deeper, the distance of the tip of the 10, that's like textbook St. Pete, but I kind of like it a little bit high. Gives you a little bit more space to hide or an 8 behind it. Really nice hard clear from Black. You got to love a hard clear. If you're not clearing hard, you're not clearing it. Let's go. Shout out Henry. Hardest clears in the game. Henry Magel III of the Golden Tangs. Hardest clears in the game. All right, so that on the left there, that's a Tampa. So that's still something that he was intending to do. He put it up in a place where if this doesn't get clear, which it gets clear really nicely, but he puts it up in a place where if it didn't get clear, Yellow can hide an 8 right behind it. Also, the other thing, too, with like those blocks up front, you're not only thinking about if you can hide behind it, you're thinking about if there's any space for your opponent to hide behind it. So that's why that Tampa's kind of nice, because your opponent can't really hide behind it. They would end up on the center line. Ooh, and that one hooks right extremely unexpectedly. And now Black has a Tampa opportunity, which you better believe they are taking. So they're going to try to score an 8 on camera left side. And maybe a 7, but it wants to be pretty close to the center line where that yellow disc up front is in the way for yellow's next disc. Oh, doesn't take the tamp opportunity. All right, keeps it clear. Playing for the hammer. Yeah, I mean, the crowd's saying it's the finals. You got to take the tamp opportunities. I tend to agree. There was something to be said for being up 7, though, and maybe trying to protect the lead, but 7-point lead is not that much. I don't know. I can see it both ways. All right, open court hammer on the right. Let's see if Carly can get this. Looks pretty good. Yeah, that is covering the number 8, which is my favorite way to score a hammer when you can't see the number 8 anymore because it's so goddamn perfect. Really, really nice hammer from Carly. And after 4, it is 0 yellow and 15 black. Yeah, this is a really strong start for black for Bodyodyody. Bodyodyody. Apologies to the Bodyodyody. Bodyodyodys. I've heard the team called Bodyodyody Babes before. I've heard them called Bodyodyody. I've heard them called Bodyodyody. They sort of go by like so many different names. You can hear me? Oh, I gotta keep it down. Yeah, they go by so many names. Definitely a crowd favorite here at the Poms. And they're playing really great. So if you're yellow, you got to think about, is it time to maybe start playing the kitchen game? And that's exactly what they're thinking about. They go on the board. They're thinking, you know, even if we convert on both hammers, it's going to be tied or we're going to be up 1, and we would have to stop them from scoring both their hammers. At some point, you got to get 2 scores on a frame, and I think going on the board is the way to do that. Especially, too, it seems like Chris is clearing pretty hard when the discs are up front, like the St. Pete's and Tampas, but anything on the board, it almost seems like Chris on black can't make up their mind on whether they want to kitchen it or not. So if that's the case, you definitely want to go on the board because they might leave you in points. If they miss, they might kitchen you, and you could reverse it possibly. Ooh, all right, that sticks. So yellow with a kind of a tough one here. There's not really a whole lot of space to hide behind it. You know, especially with this court, I'm pretty sure this court drifts to camera left on those hide attempts, so you might just want to block up the left side. Going for the hide, and it curves left, but they get really lucky and ends up being a high 8. Really, really nice outcome there. And this is going to be a super hard hammer for black. They have to maybe clip. I don't know. It's going to be hard. I think you got to try to kitchen this with kitchen plus speed. Don't come up short. Kitchens it not hard enough and comes up short and leaves yellow in a 7. That is so rough. Oh, that's so rough. Oh, man. That's tough because you just like clear that hard. You kind of have a 15-point lead with 3 frames left. And instead it's kind of evens the game out a little bit because yellow has 2 hammers left now and black only has 1. So if you think about it, yellow scores a 7 or an 8 on this hammer. It's a tie game with equal hammers left. Definitely something for newer players to think about as you're playing is like count the number of hammers that your team has left and count the number of hammers your opponent has left. And when you're choosing your shot selection, like that is first and foremost. Like what's the score? Where are we in the game? Is it the beginning? Is it the middle? The end? And then who has more hammers? What happens if we score all our hammers and they only score 1 of their hammers? That kind of thing. Decide if you need to play the kitchen game or not. And again, a little bit of a weird drift there. That black disc curves to the right a little bit and ends up being a 50-50 where they can both hide behind it. But it looks like Devin with a really hard clear, really nice. Yeah, he knows if he keeps it clear and scores an 8, they're going to be up 1 with 2 frames left. So doesn't really want to be trying to finesse down the alley there. And for people at home, did you see how much that curved to the left? That's that bump I was talking about. If it's near the alley, it curves hard to camera right. If it's near the tip of the 10, it curves hard to camera left. I'm doing the commentary from the foot here, so it's a little hard to keep track of this. Ooh, goes for the snuggle of the 10. Interesting. I kind of like that. So he was trying to maybe score a 10 where it'd be hard to clear out, where that black disc was like a backstop. Yeah, I think if you're Carly, I mean, I think you might want to go for this split. It's really hard to have finesse on this court, but like if you get this 18 points, that's going to be huge. Goes for the split, does not get it. Ends up with a pretty blocked up board though. So you're not too mad about it, but definitely a big opportunity there. Speed was perfect, just missed to the right a little bit. And now yellow's going to make a cross-court hammer here If they get it, they tie it or go up 1. And they get it. Let's go. Clutch hammer. 2 frames left. Yellow's up 1. This has been an incredible, incredible comeback for Stranger Danger. Stranger Danger, also one of my favorite teams here at the Palms. They live, 2 of them live a block away. So they come here as much as I want to come here, which is like every day. They come here at 11 o'clock, they come in the evening, they come here at midnight, maybe just get a little half-hour playtime in. They're here also at reasonable hours as well. And they are just like obsessed with shuffleboard. They started in 2021. They've gotten really, really good really, really quickly. Abby, who is playing in game 2, won one of our 2 advanced brackets of the winter Q4 knockout tournament we had. And that's just like a testament to how much they've been leveling up their game in the last couple years that they've been playing. Also, big fans of the YouTube channel. Ooh, so that's interesting too. Black goes for a St. Pete, and it curls to camera right, and ends up being a perfect Tampa. And if you're yellow, like, I think you got to go for it. I know you're shooting down the alley, and it's really, really hard to shoot down the alley on this court, but there's nothing that Black can hide behind if you miss. So I think you go for it. You get it, but it's not hidden at all. But it's still really, really tough with the drift to clear and replace. So let's see. If Chris just clears it hard, then yellow can make the same shot again. I have a feeling there's going to be a kitchen attempt here. Going for the kitchen. Comes up a little deep, ends up with the 7. Keeping it there, keeping the pressure on yellow. And now yellow has to contend with that alley and try to clear and replace that. Ooh, I like this. Devin's signaling to like try to roll it a little bit to camera right and tuck that disc behind the Black up front. If they can get this, that's going to be an amazing shot. Shoots it soft. Maybe kitchen. Let's go! Gets the kitchen. I think he just waves off his captain. He's like, no, I'm not rolling that. I'm just going to kitchen that. That's pretty easy. And a really huge kitchen and really, really puts the pressure on Black here. You know, can kind of see it. I mean, Carly's kind of saying go through the 2, go in between the yellow and the Black and try to clear it out that way. I don't know. The yellow and the Black are pretty close together. I'd maybe be tempted to, like, knock the yellow into the Black. This is tough because there's nowhere. If there was a hide opportunity, I'd say take that, but there's no hide opportunity. I think maybe you got to try to clear this out straight on or use the yellow as a combo, depending on which angle is better. All right, they shoot it pretty hard. Oh, and miss it to the right and end up in the kitchen or stay in the kitchen. And now it's time for yellow with the open court hammer. Oh, man. So Devin's recommending he go down the left side. I'm definitely going the other side. The other side's wide open. And if you overshoot it, you're not going to knock her out of the kitchen. Yeah, goes for the open court. Definitely the right decision. And definitely a really, really nasty hammer. And that is an 18-point frame for yellow. 8 yellow, -10 Black. Yeah, the kitchen for people at home. So this is we in the prior episode did commentary with my good friend Sean, who has never played shuffleboard before, and a big fan of the channel. So we had him for kind of like the newbies perspective, like asking a lot of the questions that people who haven't really played shuffleboard before would ask. And he asked me like, oh, so is that area +10 or -10? And I realized at home, like, I don't explain every episode what the kitchen is. The kitchen's that big 10 off. What is that? What's it? Yeah, it's a 10 off area. I tried to remember this in the last video, the name of the 4-sided trapezoid. Thank you. I felt stupid then, and then I was editing the video, and I was like, it's a trapezoid, Jeff. You're an idiot. And now I forgot it again. Anyway. So, yeah, there's shuffleboard. I'm going to talk about shuffleboard playing shuffleboard right now. People playing shuffleboard right now. So the strategy now for Black is to play the kitchen game, right? They're down 18. Or maybe even, yeah, they're down 18. They have to put deep discs on the court. Actually, they have to put 8s on the court. Hope that yellow can't clear it and put them in the kitchen. That's a really nice shot. On the center line at the 8 speed, I could very easily see this getting cleared and staying in points here. Yeah, I mean, he could throw it off. I think that's what he's thinking about. But he throws it off, she could split it, and then you still have to make the clear afterwards. So I kind of like clear. You know what I'm saying? Like, she splits it, you still have to clear one of those 2, then you stick it, and then she has the kitchen again. Really nice clear. All right, awesome. Look how hard he cleared that. He's clearing it with, like, a lot of force, but also very accurately. And a D. Ooh, that's not it. So yeah, that's a 7, not an 8. So there's no way for black to score 18 anymore, even if yellow throws off the board. That's what they're thinking about. And yeah, they throw it off the back of the board. Really nice shot. I would recommend new teams throw it off the side of the board because I've definitely seen people kitchen themselves throwing off the back of the board. And the for funsies shot, almost gets the split, gets the 8. All right, so really nice game 1. That was like kind of a really interesting one where Bodyodyody took an early lead, and this sort of like one mistake there kind of shifted the power dynamic where they left yellow in 7, and then game 1 goes to Stranger Danger. Yeah, and then just like really consistent play from Stranger Danger to grind out the win on the back half. Really impressive. We're gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna get a little drink, and we'll see you in a minute. All right, and we're back. Frame 1 of 8, game 2. Stranger Danger took the first one. They're playing black now. Bodyodyody Babes want to win this and force an overtime. And yeah, it's going to be a really exciting game 2. So what you're watching right now is practice shots. Each player gets 4 practice shots in our league here. You're really just trying to like figure out a sense of the court, warm up a little bit. I'm actually standing next to my man Henry Magel of the Golden Tangs. And I'm gonna Golden Tangs. Henry, what are you trying to do with your 4 practice shots? How do you approach practice?
Well, the main thing that I'm trying to do is read the drift of the court, because typically, especially on playoff day, you're playing on a different court all the time. So the first shot I go is right down the center to see which way the center line tends to drift, with the weight about towards the middle of the 7. From there, and that I shoot from the 1 spot, or the very middle spot that I can on whichever color I'm on. Then I switch to the outside, and I look for a deep 7 across the court, because that's your most likely hiding scenario. And then I also watch the drift. I see what happens there. My third shot, I try with that shot again, and I want to hide the 7. I want to make my disc, cover the 7 with that one. And then if everything's gone well, then I go back to the 1 position, and I shoot a same court 8. Because the same court 8 is the shot that you'll have if you are clearing well with the hammer. So I'm really trying to figure out what the court's going to do and what my weight feels like between the 7 and the 8.
That was never been said better. That is 100% what everyone should be doing. Nailed it. When you're shooting from the outside, cross court 7, that's what you're doing when you're hiding behind a St. Pete. Beautiful. Practice that. Shooting down the middle. That's what you're going to have to do if you need to clear and replace a 10. Beautiful. Open court 8 on the right, starting from the 1 spot. Most likely scenario that you're shooting your hammer. Boom. Paying attention to if there's a slow disc, a fast disc, if this court feels slower or faster than the one you just came from. All excellent pro-level tactics, spoken like someone who's been playing shuffleboard since 2015. Hell yeah. All right, also one other thing to mention, just because they're taking a quick sec to get started. When we're talking about drift, basically what that means is that every slab of concrete, every shuffleboard court in the entire world is not perfectly flat. It's just impossible to build a flat shuffleboard court. So as you're shooting, there are all of these little imperfections in the concrete where there are like hills and valleys. The whole court might slope in one direction, the other direction. And kind of like putting in golf, if you want a disc to go on the 8, you might have to aim a foot to the right of the 8. You might have to aim 2 feet to the right of the 8. If you're playing on a beaded court in North Carolina, you might have to aim 3.5 feet to the right of the 8. It's really like dependent on where you play, how much drift there is, and then whether they put down beads or not to make the court a little bit faster and frictionless. All right, great. So yeah, already some action. We had a stuck clear, and now yellow is going to decide what to do. And it looks like they're putting in, yeah, they're trying to block to the right of that black disc and really take away the hiding alley. But what they kind of did, yeah, this is really interesting, actually. Both people can hide here. That black is kind of like a 50-50. Black can go on the board, camera right, score an 8 or a 7. And it will be kind of hard to get. But if they miss, then yellow can go down the left side and score an 8. And it will be kind of hard for black to get. So both of them have space on the board where it's going to be hard for their opponent to score. Also, with it being Abby's hammer, she might just want to clear. And says let's go. So that's what I'm talking about. Now that black disc up front is really in the way for yellow. If I'm yellow, I'm almost tempted just to put an 8 on the left here, because that's pretty blocked up. Ooh, instead they kind of hide to the right. All right, yeah. Definitely an interesting frame with those 2 discs up front. I think black, the way I see it, black kind of has an angle at it, but if they miss to the left, they're going to knock their own out. And I kind of predicted that. And she kitchens it. Oh, I didn't predict that. So she stays in the 7. So at least there's that, but she definitely knocked herself in the kitchen. Went for kind of like clear and replace speed on that yellow. Yeah, it was a hard decision also, though, because even if Abby had cleared the black one up front, there was still kind of like a cross-court hide opportunity for behind that other yellow disc. So now I think Audrey's just going to block it up on the left. And that's a really good block, yeah. Yeah, blocks it up. And this is now kind of only option is just going for a score on the right in the 8. Don't worry about that yellow one. Just limit the damage and get that 8. Let's see. Looks a little hard. Oh, and it going left a little bit. So that's a rough start for Stranger Danger. It's 8 yellow, -3 black, so it's an 11-point gain or 11-point difference for Bodyodyodys on yellow. Great frame from Audrey with that really, really nice block. Made that 8 on the right, really kind of forced Abby into a really tough situation. You know, Abby went on the board trying to play aggressive on her hammer, and Audrey was like, all right, you want to do that? I'll just like make this a really hard frame for you. And it did not work out in Stranger Danger's favor. All right, so down 11. That's not all that much. I think black is smart for still sort of playing this St. Pete Tampa game. The people who played in game 1 were clearing amazing the entire time. But that was sort of an anomaly. Like, it's not easy to clear that consistently in Royal Palms, especially because the courts are a lot slower than when you play in other parts of the world or the country where they put down the beads and stuff. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, didn't get clear. It rolled to be a St. Pete for yellow, though. So nothing that black can really take advantage of. But given that they don't have the hammer, they might try to put up a block and block that cross-court hiding lane. Oh, no, they're going on the board. All right. Let's do it. Let's play the kitchen game. I think if you're going on the board there, I would maybe go left more. Because there's or actually camera right more. Because there's a scenario in which yellow knocks that black out and kind of rolls to camera left and hides behind the yellow. That's definitely what I'd go for. And yeah, they hit it hard and keep it on the board. And now black has a kitchen opportunity that you know you're going for if you're down 11. You know you're going for it. Mandy playing it up for the camera. Curl's right. So yeah, that's something that is going to be come into play if black stays down. It's really hard to kitchen in that part of the board because it goes over that hump that I was talking about in game 1 where you don't know if it's going to curve left or you don't know if it's going to curve right. That one looked like it curved right pretty hard. And by not keeping it on the board, they gave yellow a hide opportunity cross court to score an 8 or a 7 on the left side. And that's nasty. That is a nasty, nasty hide. That is the first nasty hide of the match, actually. There were a couple of hides, but none of them were quite as nasty as that one was. That is perfectly placed, covering the 8. Black can't go down the middle and get it out because that yellow's in the way. So they probably have to put up a high 10 or a high 8 on the left. Maybe try to go for a high 8 on the right, but I don't think that's gettable. I think you probably go high 8 or a high 10 on the left. And hope that you just make their hammer hard. And yeah, curves really, really hard to the right again. Such a weird court. So hammer time for Bodyodyody. They have that 8 in the bank. They just got to score that 8 on the left. One of the practice shots Henry's talked about. Just drill the 8, open court on your own side. Watch out that it doesn't hook right. Because if it hooks, hook left. Make sure it doesn't hook either way. Because if it hooks left, it's going to knock that black in. If it hooks right, it's going to go down the alley. Oh, that was dead on straight, just a little short. That was perfect, though. I got to, watch that back at home from where she started from and where she aimed for. Because that was, the only straight line that exists on the yellow side of the board. She, managed to find a line where it didn't hook left or right. It was just a little too soft. So, yeah, not a terrible outcome for Stranger Danger. Not a terrible outcome for Bodyodyodies either. They scored the hammer. That's what you want to do. All right, frame 3. It is 16 yellow, -3 black. And Abby puts up, that is a picture perfect St. Pete. I mean, that's like a textbook St. Pete. I like my St. Pete's a little bit more to the tip of the 10 by like 3 inches, just to maybe tempt my opponent or make it harder for them to clear. And yeah, after the St. Pete going on the board, that looks like it's on the line. No score. And I have a feeling yellow's going to still clear this. I mean, if I'm yellow, we have the hammer here. We're already up 19. I'm just trying to blast everything, score this hammer, go up 26 or 27, and just try to like ride out this game by not getting kitchen. And that is a pretty tempting tip of the 10. Hard to clear, and she gets to clear really nicely. All right, so Abby's final shot before yellow's hammer. Going to be a high 8 or a high 10. Try to make this hammer hard. Going for the high something, and it comes up short again. That's rough. One thing I started doing is like trying to err on the side of shooting deep on those. You know, even though you might get kitchen, on this court it's really hard to kitchen, and it's hard to clear and replace. Oh, ends up on the 7-8 line. And that is stranger danger dodging a bullet there. Keeping this only a 19-point game, that could have been, 26-27 if that was him. And with the extra hammer, there's 3 hammers left for stranger danger and 2 for Bodyodyody. Stranger danger is still definitely in this thing. You score 1 disc here, it's a 1-score game. You score 2 discs, it's almost tied up. Definitely still a lot of shuffleboard left here. And the question becomes, like, if you're black with the hammer, keep it clear and try to grind out two hammers, or do you go on the board? And she goes on the board and kind of leaves like a Tampa for yellow. But it's a Tampa for yellow on this court where it's so hard to hide down the left side, down the camera right side. Oh, man. So yellow goes for the hard clear, which I really like. Goes for the hard clear, trying to keep this, not let black score 2, which I think is probably the right move. And yeah, black goes on the board, playing kitchen bait. That's called kitchen bait. Basically what you're doing is you're putting a score, hope that they can't clear it and you have a chance to kitchen them, or that they get tempted to try to kitchen you and then something goes your way. And that is like a really nice in the 8 kitchen bait on the hard side of the difficult side of the board. And Mandy's going to try to blast this clear. Shoots it pretty clear and tips it into a 7 on the right, on camera left. That's what I'm talking about. You go on the board, you put it on a difficult side, tricky spot, tricky drift, and you kind of hope your opponent messes up. And that's exactly what Stranger Danger wanted. All right, so puts an 8 on the left side. That's I don't know. I would probably put it on the other side. We'll see how this plays out. Usually I'm trying to avoid a scenario, especially with my hammer. I'm trying to avoid a scenario where my opponent can clear both out with 1 shot. So I'd probably put it on the other side, because there's definitely a scenario in which Mandy knocks the black up front in the 8 into the 1 on the 7 and clears both. Looks like maybe got it. Oh, close. Almost got both of them. So yeah, still excellent outcome. And now it is time for a very, very clutch hammer. They really need this to make this a tight game. And that looks pretty good. And that's in. Let's go. Really, Jen's been making like really, really intense, really, really important hammers all banquet. In the semifinals, there was a score to win scenario to like force overtime, and Jen got that. And then in the last frame of overtime too, it's just like really, really clutch play. So after 4, it is, I have no idea. It's 16-14. 16 yellow, 14 black. So pretty much a tie game. 16-11. Thank you, Henry. I sometimes take notes, but then, it's banquet. Screw the notes, right? That's the motto of this channel. Screw the preparation, screw the notes. Let's just one take this thing. and then spend 6 hours editing it afterwards. That's the channel motto. All right. So yellow putting up a really nice St. Pete, and Abby doing a really nice job clearing it. Now that it's a close game, it's a 5-point game. Now that it's a close game, I think black is just trying to get this one hammer, go up in score, and meaning take the lead, and then sort of, try to put the pressure on yellow. Try to put the pressure on them to clear, that kind of thing. And yeah, Abby, that's what she's going for. Really nice clear. Second good clear. Ooh, she's dancing a little bit. Trying to keep the nerves loose. You gotta love it when players are dancing when they play. That's like one of my favorite things. Shout out to Dave Berman in Chicago. Dancing Dave Berman. Yeah, I think you gotta keep it loose a little bit. At the end of the day, it's just shuffleboard. I'm just kidding. It's way more than that. Oh, misses the clear. And yellow with a hide opportunity. I think you got to go for it. You could block up the left side of the board and just make a really hard hammer. Yeah, just it shakes it a little bit. So yeah. No, it's all good, man. So yeah, I think the two options for yellow would be to block up the left side and make Abby have a hard hammer. But given that it's the finals, I think I'm trying to make this cross-court hide. Like, I think you're trying to win the game. This is a makeable shot. You want to make this 8. And it curves left hard, just like we saw in the first game, actually. We saw that, remember that? It's going for the cross-court. It curved left hard, ended up being a high 8 in game 1. Yellow taking that exact same shot. So yeah, ends up being a really good outcome, even though it wasn't the hide. I'm sure Audrey's going to tell me if she was going for that or not. And yeah, Abby has a chance to like backstop that 10. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm going for, actually. I'm probably going down the alley here, just knowing. Yeah, I don't know. Someone in the crowd is saying there's a 20-point shot if you can kitchen and score on that. If you can score on that, you're up. It's 21, you're up 5. If you make the 8 or the 7, you're up 3 or 2, so it doesn't really matter that much that way. Yeah, I could see go for the kitchen. I don't know. I kind of go down the alley if it's me, but whatever I'm more confident doing. Going for the 10. Does not get the 10. Yeah. In the finals, you go for glory. I don't know. I go down the alley. I say there's a lot of glory in making a nasty alley shot, too. Yeah, it's 16 yellow and 11 black right now. So Bodyodydy's winning this game so far, but Stranger Danger won the first game. So Bodyodyody wins, they force the 4-frame overtime. It's intense, baby. Subscribe to Brooklyn Shuffleboard if you haven't already. A lot of intense matchups like this one. Just waiting for your viewing eyes to view, All right, so black goes on the board, thinking that they're down 5. Yellow has an extra hammer. I kind of like this idea. I think now might be the time to play a little aggressive. You're going to have to make up points at some point. You can't just hope that they miss hammers 2 frames in a row, and then you have the chance to win in the last frame. You definitely got to make some progress on this frame or the following one. So going on the board, perfectly fine strategy. If you want to put up St. Pete's and Tampas, see if they can't clear it, also a good strategy. But going on the board, I think that's great. And she goes for the kitchen, and she almost gets the kitchen. Yeah. She could potentially kitchen that later if she wanted to. But yeah, I don't know. For yellow, this is kind of a tough one because you don't want to give her the opportunity to kitchen it again. If you try to clear it, then you run the risk of leaving yourself in the kitchen. Like if you hit it on the edge and you kind of roll into the kitchen a little bit. And she is putting up a St. Pete. That's kind of cool because it means that what she's saying is I'll put up the St. Pete. Jen, if you want to try to kitchen that and you miss, then I have a cross-court hide opportunity. So I can see the logic there. There's not an obvious best option. Jen's going for the kitchen and doesn't get it, but gets a 7, and it's really close to that yellow on the back line. So a lot of different things can happen here. She clears it hard. Yellow can stay in. She clears it. The black disc can bump off the yellow and end up in the kitchen. There could be a weird series of glances where yellow ends up in the kitchen. Anything can happen here. All right, yellow lining up. Shoots it hard. And, yeah, Clears both really nicely. Leaves herself in the 7. And Jen just took this line. Her disc ended up exactly there in her prior shot, which means that she's going to put this in the -10. And she can learn from what she did the prior shot and adjust. And that looks pretty good. Maybe a little hard? A little too hard, but it ends up with the 7. And the question on all these shuffle experts' minds are right now, is there enough space between the line and that black disc? Because if there is, yellow can hit it straight on and score. If there's not, they kind of have to like glance it on the edge or try to kitchen it. Audrey was saying kind of blast it straight on, so I think that's what she's going for there. All right, lines it up. Looks pretty good. Ooh, rolls it left and gets the 7. Really nice hammer. Really nice hammer. A little lucky didn't end up on the center line, but a good 7 on the hammer is a good 7 on the hammer. And that is like exactly what Bodyodyody wanted, making this a 2-score game right now. It's a 12-point game. Black would need 2 scoring discs, like 2 8s, to make up the difference here. So they like really need to steal this now. If yellow scores another hammer, it's kind of over because it's going to be 12. It's going to be like a 19-20 point game in the last frame, which is too much to make up. So this is like do or die time for black right now. You have to kitchen them, but really you can get away with just stopping them from scoring their hammer or like having both people score. Keep this a 12-point game in the last frame, and then maybe you get a kitchen opportunity in the last frame and you can win it. Yeah, yellow is just trying to clear everything and clear everything hard and does not get the clear. So now Abby, with a hide opportunity, she needs this. This is huge. She wants this to be, I would say, like a deep 8, pretty far to the left. You don't want yellow to be able to go down the center and get it out. So it needs to be like a 7 or an 8, tucked right behind that yellow disc up front. Oh man, so she's smart. She's starting from the outside, from the 4 spot. And she's lining it up. Looks pretty good. Oh baby, nasty hide. Nasty hide, number 2. Yeah, that is like as perfect gets. Audrey's looking to see whether there's a line down the edge. There's like barely a line. There's a line, but I don't think you're gonna get it. Like that's so hard. So you could go for it and just like miss to the right where you clear yourself out the block out. Says she just clears it. Yeah, that's the right shot. Just clear out the one up front. Make Abby have to cover it, which means just basically put up a block and stop Audrey from being able to get to it again. Or, because you're down 12, or you put a score on the right and you play a kitchen game on the right side of the board. That's probably what I would do. Just that you're down 12. Oh, did that get there? I don't know. I think that's too far to the right. Yeah, Audrey's lining up from the outside with confidence now. She feels like she has this. Not an easy shot, but she feels like she has it. Oh, no, misses left. Yeah, that's the trouble with it's such a hard position to play from, yellow at the head, because that thing curved left before it got to the center court. You know what I mean? Like all of that drift was on the shooter side of the board. So, yeah, now Abby has another tough choice, which is, do I block the left and stop her from going for the same shot because she felt like she had it? Or do you put a high, I think you probably put a high 8 on the right or a high 7 on the right and make it so that it's a hard clear and replace on the right. Because if you have a high 8 on the right and yellow doesn't clear and replace it, you gain 8 points. And you go into this last frame only down 4 with the hammer. So I think you go for a high 8 or a high 7 on the right side of the board here. And that's what she's going for. Oh, she just blocks it. All right, that's interesting. So instead, that's actually kind of, that's not I kind of like that too. I didn't even consider it. But blocked it up and made yellow have a really hard hammer. Audrey, if she takes the same line she just took, she could learn from her mistake. But she missed for a reason because the drift is nasty. So she might be tempted to go for it, or she's tempted to go for an 8 or a 10 in the middle where there's like a lot of wonky drift. I think you probably got to you got to go for whatever you're most confident in, right? So you got to go for it looks like she's going for the 8 on the left. The line's good, and she gets it nasty. Really, really, really important hammer. And it speaks to like Abby's strategy of like making the hammer hard to hit. And something that we've sort of realized at the Palms here is like, sometimes it's not enough just to make your opponent have a hard hammer, because everyone who's playing right now is really, really good. And like pretty much half the league is like really, really good. And they're able to hit really difficult hammers with high consistency. Clear into place on a drifty court, maybe get the high 8. I don't know. But anyway, last frame, yellow's up 11. The only way Stranger Danger is winning this is if they can go on the board and yellow can't clear it off. So yellow with the smart throw off the first disc. That's deep. Oh, that's nice. Really, really nice first shot. Close to the center of the board. Makes it so yellow has to clear their disc off. They have to cover a lot of the board to get it off the board. I like that shot from Jen. Yeah, so yellow needs a hard clear here. Clear it off, make it so you don't get kitchen, and just ride out this victory. All right, lining it up. Shooting it with pace, and she sticks it. Oh man, gets the 7 out, but here's the Jen opportunity. Here's the kitchen opportunity that Jen wanted. It's kind of in the same spot that she had 2 attempts a couple frames ago, so more likely to make it. So let's see if she can get this. She needs this. Speed looks pretty good. A little hard? No, a little hard. Man, ever since coming back from St. Pete, I am unable to read what looks like good speed or what does not look like good speed. On the line. All right, so yellow, though, needs to clear it out again. Yellow's up 11. Just trying not to get kitchen. Let's clear it out and clear yourself out. Make it so that there's nothing to kitchen. And clears the disc out, but stays in. And another kitchen opportunity for Jen. And this one's on the camera right side. So it's going to be hard to get to with all that drift. But yeah, like as I said, she needs this. No, curves right. Curves right. Ends up on the back line. Really rough. So now kind of a tough decision for yellow. You can block up the score. If you block up the score and then you make it successfully, the game's over pretty much. Black won't be able to kitchen anything. If you don't block up the score, Jen gets the second opportunity at the kitchen. And if you blast it clear, which is probably my preferred shot, if you blast it clear, then the game's over. And she's going for the block, and that looks pretty good. I can see a line where Jen can kitchen this, though, especially with that rightward curve a little bit. But I don't know if there is going to be rightward curve because her disc is going to be traveling more on the left side of the board. But this is makeable. Oh, man, this is a big one. Kitchen and score to win. Gets this. Oh, my God, is that in? Is that in? That's in the kitchen. Is that 7 in? Not in. Oh, my God. Almost gets it. That is a millimeter from winning the banquet. Oh, my Lord. That is absolutely insane. Oh, my God. That is absolutely insane. She almost got it. Oh, that would have been an amazing finish. All right, overtime. Overtime. We'll be back in one moment with overtime.
I realized that as soon as I said, was that the who's playing? You were like,
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything wrong. Inappropriate.
Oh, wait, we're already started. All right, frame 1 of 4 frame overtime. They really launched into that. I took a break. I was kind of chatting a little bit, and then there was discs on the board, and I was playing catch-up. All right, Michael with a same P, and Chris did a good job clearing it off. Michael with another good same P. Actually, that was a little bit deeper. That kept traveling. But yeah, still, I would imagine Chris is still probably trying to clear it and play for the hammer here. I don't know. The hand on the hip means that there's something being thought about. So I don't know. We'll see. You know, people get a little rattled in overtime sometimes. Nice clear again. All right. Yeah, overtime sometimes overtime tends to come down to like who is going to make the catastrophic error often. I hate to see it, but like that's often how it goes. The nerves are high. The discs are kind of like a different speed from game one because the wax is maybe smoothed out a little bit because they wax the bottom of the discs, and as they play, the discs kind of change speed a little bit. So there's a lot. Anything can happen in a 4-frame overtime. And so far, really solid play though. Keeps the 7 in, and that is like tempting yellow to kitchen that. It's like, you want to try to kitchen me? I dare you. Because if you miss, I'm definitely going to kitchen you. Ooh, all right. And yellow not playing that game, just clears it off, and black has an open board for the first hammer of overtime. You like really want this. You don't want to be playing from a deficit with only one hammer left. Or I guess not a deficit. You don't want to be playing. You want to get this. You want to take the lead early. And that looks pretty good. Pretty good. Gets the 7. Really, really high pressure hammer. Really clutch. Nice job, Chris. Amazing, amazing job. Bodyodyody up 7 after 1 frame. All right, black's up first. Carly playing the St. Pete game. Manages a really nice St. Pete. Maybe a teeny bit too far to the left, but to camera right, but that seems good enough for me. And Devin with a really hard clear. He's been clearing amazing all match. I love the power. I gotta like study his form a little bit and see how he generates so much power so accurately. Oh, and that's nice. That is like exactly what you want from a St. Pete. Definitely, I don't know if we've seen any cross-court hide opportunities though. Have we? I don't remember, because it's kind of hard with that rightward drift for the black shooter when they shoot cross-court. But I don't think it's going to be hide opportunities. Really nice clear. When are we going to get a radar gun? We need like a speed gun out here. We've been talking about this for 10 years. All right. Throwing up what looks to be just like a classic block. You know, it's not really a Tampa. It's not really a St. Pete. It's just sort of blocking the left side of the board. But Devin clears it really well. And now Carly's last shot, the Bodyodyodys. Can they put up a score, a high score? It looks pretty good. Oh, baby. I can't tell. So that's a good 8. But Devin's going to check how much space is there. Yeah, we allow people to like go down and look at it. They're doing like some sort of sign language. It's hard to tell if there's space for the yellow to hit it straight on. If there is, that's what I'm going for. Maybe kitchen's plus speed. Or you try to roll it to the left. You know, clip the left side of the black, roll it left. Either way, you want kitchen plus speed. Wow, let's go! That is a very difficult hammer. Also proving that there was more than 6 inches between the line and that disc. Love the validation. And yeah, also an 8. You know, Bodyodyodys scored, keep messing that up. Bodyodyodys scored 7 in the first frame, and that was an 8. So after 2, Stranger Danger's up 1. 2 more frames left. And you can see they switch colors. So it's still black's up first. It's yellow, black, black, yellow. And they didn't cross over the scoreboard yet. But yeah, black is up 1. So if they could steal this hammer, they're going to go into the last frame being up 1 with the hammer. So I think Abby's sort of like sticking to the same Pete's, it looks like, thinking that it's a little bit of a safer shot than Tampa's. Yeah, really nice St. Pete again. The thing about Tampa's is that like they're really great and you could hide behind them, but if you miss to the left or the right of the Tampa, you give your opponent a hide opportunity. And if you're trying to like hold a lead, even though it's a 1-point lead, it's a little bit safer to go for St. Pete's than Tampa's, because the last thing you want is Bodyodyodys to score 2 discs. Like you go for a Tampa, you miss to the left or right, and then Bodyodyodys hide behind what is basically a St. Pete, and then it's their hammer, they score their hammer, scored 2 discs. Like you don't want that. You want to make it so that if they score their hammer, at least it's only 1, and you're going into the last frame with the hammer and the ability to win the game. So Audrey looks like she's clearing it, and she doesn't really clear it, but it's so high up and so far to the left that it's going to be pretty hard for Abby to hide behind. You know, she can hide behind it, but it has to be pretty much like a corner 7. And if you're aiming for corner 7s with banquet nerves, you run the risk of kitchening yourself. I don't know. I'm probably putting up one more St. Pete here and hope that they can't clear it. And then if I'm feeling frisky on the last one, going for it. That is not great. That curved hard to the right. And now Audrey has a hide opportunity, which definitely she's going to take it. She's aiming for basically that printed number 8 on the left side would be perfectly hidden. Looks pretty good. Oh, ends up on the 7-8 line. I don't know if that was hidden anyway. Would have been a hard clear for Abby, but not hidden. And now Abby has another really hard decision. You know, she could like go for a high 8 on the right and make the hammer hard, but then if she misses it, Audrey has the 15-point split by bumping that yellow disc on the line into a 7. So she blocks that split, which is what she's going for here. Blocks the split, gets the block, but now Audrey has a wide open hammer on the right side. So definitely a tough one. Needs this hammer to take the lead. Oh no! Ends up on the 7-8 line. Oh my God, that is so unlucky. And that means that the fact that they ended up on the 7-8 line, no score, it means that they're going into the last frame down 1 without the hammer. All because of that mother effing 7-8 line. I hate that line so much. Tournaments have been won and lost from that line, and that very well could be the case right now. All right, so last frame, yellow's down 1, 7-8, and you got to go on the board and play the kitchen game here, or you got to put up Tampas and try to hide behind it. Either kind of is good. The nice thing about the Tampa is like sometimes your opponent doesn't know what to do with it. But I think if you're up 1, your opponent's going to be clearing everything anyway. So going for the kitchen probably makes sense. And a really nice clear from Jen. 3 more clears, and they are the Banquet champions. Winter 2024 League champions. Just 3 more clears. Mandy drops the 10 with some nice little court drift on the end of that. And Jen with clear number 2 of 4 to win the championship. And she does not clear it. So it rolls to the right, to the camera left a little bit. And now Mandy has an opportunity to hide cross court and get this. She's lined up for the 1 spot, which means that she's going for the kitchen. She's going for the kitchen. The crowd is yelling, Kitchener, Kitchener. Yeah, kitchen's a fine strategy, too. Oh, my God. Speed was very close, but she left it in the 7. And that's going to be tough. Now Jen probably wants to block that yellow disc, because if Jen does nothing, Mandy's going to try to bump the yellow into the 7 because it's so blocked up. So she has to block this 7. And she gets a really nice block. Oh, my God. That was, like, so perfect where she can't even get the combo now. So she just won that, right? So now the only yeah, so that's pretty much the game. The thing to go for now is if you make a 10, at least on the board, you'll have a 2-point lead. If you make an 8, you could potentially hide 1 cross court, and then you tie it on the board, but Jen still has the hammer. So the shots are cross court 8 or make a 10 and just hope that Jen like completely whiffs. I think you need to go for the 8 because it'll at least be hidden. But with that, the court drift, like I don't know that line. It might curve left a little bit. It might be hard to hide. I don't know though. I think I saw Devin make a hammer over there. I think it might be fairly straight. I don't know. It looks like Mandy's going for the 10 though. Going for the 10 and does not get the 10. And this match is over. Congratulations to Stranger Danger. Oh my God, the tears. Stranger Danger, Winter 2024 champions. They did it. Congratulations, Michael, Abby, Jen, and Devin. First team ever to cry after winning a championship. Maybe the first team ever to cry tears of joy from losing the championship. Audrey is so happy for them. They are all such good friends. Yeah, really, really excited for everyone involved. Congratulations. We are going to wrap off right now, sign off right now, but we're going to do a little post-game interview probably. If not, catch the next one. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.